I hate to break it to you, but you're screwing your kids over with how you're saving for their college.
I'm sorry, kid.
And just so you know, we all can't be this lucky.
I'm about to ask people a very important question.
Holy God.
Can I see if you're subscribed to me on YouTube?
I know I've watched some of your videos.
Ooh, he is not subscribed. Hey, how's it going? Can I see if you're subscribed to me on YouTube?
Yes.
Why are you shaking?
Okay. He is subscribed with notifications. How much does your tuition cost?
$14,000?
Carl, Nolan, come in here real quick. Give me 1 second.
Whoa. No, this is not serious.
So this is $10,000. He said it was 14 grand, so give me one of those. You know, just have $20,000. Have some extra money.
Oh my God.
Your college tuition is now paid for. You literally could have lied to me and said 100 grand and we would have gave it to you.
That's funny. That's still funny. Go give it to other people. Thank you so much, man. Oh my God.
So it'd be awesome if we were that lucky, but let's be honest, it's horribly expensive. And most of us are trying to save in these 529 plans that really parents are starting to hate. So is that really the best way to go about it? Or could there be something that's even better?
Always looking for something better, always looking for something else.
Welcome back to Money Ripples. This is Chris Miles here. All right, so let's deal with the elephant in the room. Is college even really worth it? Now I know I'm dealing with a sacred cow here because everybody's telling us that you gotta go to college. That is the way to do. I know millennials are the most educated generation right now, and we're passing that on to the next generation too. Here's my take on it. Now, maybe it's because I'm an Xer, but the truth is that I dropped out of college. I went to college, I was on that path. I actually was all the way to the point of getting my bachelor's, and then I realized one important thing. I was gonna be capped on how much money I can make in the real world, right? In that educated world. It didn't matter if I had a master's or even a PhD, I knew I was gonna be capped. But as an entrepreneur, I knew I could make more money. Now, here's the thing. If you're in a profession that requires a college degree, great, do that. I think it could be worthwhile. But if you don't have to take that path, there are other paths you can take. There are things you could be doing to create a lot more money, a lot more wealth than just going to college. In fact, with the way that college costs are going up higher than the wages, more and more students are getting buried in college debt, and that doesn't help that interest rates are going up too. Therefore, it makes it harder. Now, I even got student loans myself, and I'll tell you, I had those student loans for 15 years. Why? Because it was dirt cheap interest. It was easy to pay off, wasn't hard at all. Even though I never finished my degree, eventually I did pay off my student loans. And by the way, mine were never forgiven. Thanks, Joe Biden.
Yo, Jared.
What's up, man?
How much debt are you gonna have when you graduate?
Probably around 220.
220. And when do you think you'll be debt free?
Hopefully when I'm 35.
35. All right. Yo, Allie. How much debt are you gonna have when you graduate?
Like 180.
180. And when do you think you'll be debt free?
Hopefully by the time I'm 40.
By the time. Okay. Cool. Yo, Cameron. How much debt are you gonna have when you graduate?
I'll probably have about 200,000.
And when do you think you'll be debt free?
I do legitimately intend to die with it.
Okay.
Okay, you guys ever played the game of life? Obviously I have, and apparently life has been rough on us. But when we play the game of life, you have two paths you can take. You can take the college path, or you can take the career path. The college path means you're gonna have a bunch of debt for student loans you gotta pay off over time. So you're actually negative when you start the game. But if you take the career path, you go jump right into the job market, there's no debt, and you start getting a paycheck right away. Now, some people think, well, it's better because the college career does give you a little bit better options when you pick those career cards, but not always. Even though this is a kid's game, it's kind of true in real life, isn't it? Because there are things you could be doing in your life that you might not need a college education for. I'm glad these medical students are actually going to college because there's training that's needed. But who's to say there wasn't another option? What if there's an option where they could actually do more residency and do other kinds of training outside the college path that didn't require so much debt? They only do that because they know they can charge them that much. But I'm telling you, in real life, these college kids are hoping by 35, 40, 45 pay off their debt. In reality, I've seen this be the case where it's very common to see doctors and dentists in their 40s still paying on this debt, still trying to get to that point. Yes, they have good income, but a lot of income is going to pay off that debt that they got years or even decades earlier. So if you don't want to have debt and you want to save your kids, what's the best option? The most popular option is the 529 college savings plan. That is the go-to. That's what everybody pushes you towards. Let's get this 529 plan. Now here's a few things to be aware of. First and foremost is that yes, you can use that money for college, but it's only for college. So if your kid gets a full ride scholarship, guess what? What are you gonna use that money for if you don't have to use that money? Now you might be able to use it for housing and some other things, books and other fees, but if you save up tens of thousands of dollars, which many parents try to do, you save that up, well now you've got this money you can't use. If you try to use it for anything besides college, guess what? you get penalized on your money. The very money that's your money you saved up for, you get slapped with a penalty because you didn't use it for what are considered qualified college expenses.
The average cost of college is what, $20,000 a year?
Now, the other situation could be, what if your kid doesn't go to college? Well, then same problem.
You know what? Maybe I didn't get into college.
What if your kid instead finds a career where college isn't required? Or maybe they go the entrepreneur path, right? What if they do something different? There's a lot of things that can happen. What if they go into the trades? You know, right now, I will tell you, one of the best fields to go into is probably into the actual trades. Things like becoming a contractor, things like home improvement and other aspects. That is a dying profession right now, meaning that the people are dying, not the profession itself, but the people are dying off. Like there's less and less people in that profession to replace them because sadly enough, kids want to be YouTubers nowadays. Go figure. And so as a result, we've got professions that are becoming wide open. They can make great money without having to get all the college debt.
Well, it's true. You know, I don't have a clue what I want to do the rest of my life.
So sometimes the 529 plan may not be the best option, even though it's great if they actually go on that college path and your crystal ball is perfectly clear. You know exactly what's going to happen in your future. But what if you don't know what's going to happen in your future? Many people also complain about their 529 plans because they are required. They're actually invested for you in the stock market. There's no choosing your funds. They invest based on the time horizon and the age of your child. So it's very possible that if the markets tank right before your kid goes to college, you might lose a good percentage of your money. That could even mean that you only have 3 years of college saved up for instead of 4. That's a big risk. I'm seeing more and more parents very dissatisfied with their 529 plans because they're not only rigid because they can only be used for college expenses, but they're also high risk because they're invested in the stock market. That's where this other infinite banking can come in. If it's designed the right way, you can actually get your money to not only grow tax-free and come out tax-free, but get this, you can use it for whatever you want. You can use it for college, you can use it to start a business. Heck, you can use it for them to go blow in Vegas and then figure out what to do. Great thing is you control the money. They don't, your kids don't. They can't get access to it unless you turn over the keys to them. Technically, you don't ever have to give the money to them. You could use it for whatever you want, but it's money that's flexible. It can be used for more things, and it's not invested in the stock market where you could be losing money right when you need it the most.
And the first rule is you go to college.
So for example, I had a client that was doing the same thing for his 2 boys. They were both about 12 years old. And he said, you know what? I don't want to be stuck because what if they get a scholarship? I don't know if one of them might get a full ride or not. What if they decide to take a different path? I don't know what to do. And I said, well, let's look at this infinite banking option instead. And the thing that really blew his mind, right, was not only could he save his money there, but he could actually use the money right now. So instead of the 529 plan where they tell you where the money gets invested, he gets to choose what he wants to do with the money. So yes, he could let it sit there and grow compound interest tax-free inside that policy and have some good money later on. But here's what he's doing instead. He's actually taking the money from his kids' policies, using it to invest and buy real estate properties that cash flow. So he's buying real assets that have real tangible value, are inflation hedged. When inflation goes up, they go up. And as a result, he's going to have more money, more assets in that than he would have had probably in a 529 anyways, because he's buying real cash flowing assets that are making double-digit returns with some great tax breaks as well. So for him, he's actually able to get those assets to create more cash flow so that that pays for the college instead of him having to always come out of pocket for that college savings. So this strategy can be a great way to help you avoid a big amount of college debt and heck, even give them a great start to their life. And that kind of leads to this next video here. You want to figure out what to do with your adult children to make sure that they become financially independent on their own and not dependent upon you. You're going to need to watch this video next. So is it really worth going to college in 2023? More and more parents are sort of questioning this because it's getting more expensive and it's taking more out of their pockets as well as their own children. Now, the go-to has always been the 529 plan. That has been the answer. But now more and more parents are becoming ticked off that their 529 plans don't make good money, sometimes lose money in the stock market, and it's rigid. They can only use it for college, and they're looking for other options. My recommendation is don't use the 529 plan, but instead use something that's more flexible like an infinite banking policy. So if you want to learn more about that, check out the full video here below.